Alright, and we are back in the time loop for the 42nd episode. We're here for the second time in the series at the Indianapolis road course, which is, well, actually not my home track. It's my secondary home track. Closest is one Road America, which I don't think has actually been used in the series yet, because I was saving that for more towards the end of the series. Of course, I have a personal stake in succeeding in this race, myself, because, well, the last time I drove this track in this series, it didn't go too well. And, as for the characters on hand, I'm playing as MetaCog. Call back to the first character that raced in the first episode. And is accompanied by Buttercup and Samurai Jack. And, Deliverance has finally showed up. In the 28 Porsche. Deliverance, you should be able to remember, is a pizza delivery guy who typically drove an old 80s Toyota. However, having evolved with the drivers, he's since driven a Toyota Supra, and now he's evolved into a Porsche. I don't really see the correlation, but it was the only white and black car that really worked, I suppose. For him, anyway. So let us begin. Alright, Samurai Jack, get like a rocket start here. I'm being boxed in by Cartoon Network. This is unpleasant. Buttercup, you were taking your sweet time here. Do you want to get rolled over again? I cannot get down to the bottom lane at all. Oh my god, what the heck? I barely clipped that guy and I sent him around. That's still Deliverance. 27, not 28, but it's close enough. You guys are taking your sweet time. Oh my god, I got to turn damage off for this one. How you doing, Jack? Yes, I'm here. Now I'm ahead of you. Well, a small bit of damage, but, nothing unbearable like, you know, has happened before, like with Vert at Suzuka. I just call it Suzuka. Let's call it Taquito, but it's just basically a shameless ripoff of Suzuka, because licensing is difficult, apparently. Well, you broke early. I will take that. This thing, a little tight, and therefore is making passes hard to do, but... Oh my god, I forgot how to take that corner. And it was a rare occurrence because this race actually started at night. Oh, okay, very early morning, but it started without the light of the sun, and, well, 2.5 minutes into the race, the sun is starting to rise. This traction control definitely has a little bit of fun coming out of a lot of turns. With all the horsepower of this thing at work there. And me being impatient when it comes to applying throttle in just about any situation in any car. Not just this one. Oh, good lord. 60 through there? Now let me just get right around you, ASAP. Didn't seem to like the way I just took that. They really like to cut me off there, don't they? Probably just stop trying to pass in that corner, because they just like to just take the lane away from me. They expect me to just mount that curb like it's a horse down there. No, I don't want to. You can't make me. I'll just push you aside. Yes, I still... They just do that into every turn here, don't they? They just take the line away. You can't shut the door like that. Now we have enough damage to where the car doesn't drive any worse, but it's, well, not great top speed anymore. Actually, that might just be because I didn't have a draft. Now I'll just cut you off too. You won't get anywhere. Because you don't let me get anywhere. I threw it on you twice. I'm being that guy. MetaCog has a mean streak too. He'll push you out of the way if he has to. He was the villain at one point. I would almost be better taking the outside, but they never leave that open. Oh, we missed the turn a little. The corner feels so weird. It's like requires a very specific, precise amount of steering input, and on a controller you can't really get that precise input. I'll be close enough into this straight, I think, even with the damage I received from vehicles cutting me off. Yeah, I'm there now, and you have to respect that, and at this point, this is probably a better way to pass than to go on the inside. Case in point. You just cut the Really? You're just gonna cut the track on me now? Fine then, I'll do it too. You stupid cheating Porsche. Ah! Stay behind me! You deserve to be alongside me at any point there. You just cut the damn track. I know where my breaking point is here. And then they miss it. And now I'm gonna lose the place again. And I'm gonna get into him because he cheated. MetaCog, the karma chameleon of this race, apparently. And they probably wouldn't have even caught me down the straight if I didn't get damage from them cutting me off multiple times. You know? Something to think about. Broke very considerably for that. It has become noticeably foggy. Interesting. It could be worse. That, as Vert will vouch for, it can be a lot worse than fog. It could be a thunderstorm, or it could be a scarlet mist, or both. It's also an option, as again, Vert will tell you. Oh, please stop. Good lord. Ha. You were too scared to hold it out there. Of course, I'm actually braking later than I really have to, because I know if that Porsche gets even like a millimeter's worth of opportunity, he's gonna throw it in there and try to kamikaze my behind all the way to Road America, so... This thing sounds very low-pitched and also kind of sometimes strange if traction control decides to do its little spaz attack as I exit a turn. It sounds almost like the vehicle equivalent of like breathing or talking into a room fan. And so the wind just gets louder. It's like just kind of weird. That was the early raker. Still worked. Tires sound like they are screaming in agony through that entire corner. I also want to know why this German vehicle has, or this British vehicle has a German company on it. We're now halfway through the event. Just a bit of a Porsche line there. Nobody saw anything. The sun and the lighting of the area is tripping out. Is it beginning like is it becoming like hazy or something? Is that what that is? Oh, my back is itchy. Can't really do anything about that right now. It is pretty much, it has definitely become quite hazy. Which in this game is both its own weather condition and there's also a transition period, usually between fog and heavy clouds. Whether or not they are for rain or not is like not relevant. If there are lots of clouds right after a fog spell, there's haze in this game. It's an interesting thing, and I even left a comment on, I'd imagine the first video, but I can't quite remember. I'm drawing a blank there. But I went back to begin watching older content of yours. Huh. It's weird. The grill lights up in this place. Yeah, now the fog is going away. And the clouds are not. That's another Porsche line from me. Yeah, I specifically started with the Jet Set Radio Future LP. I noticed that resemblance between, more than resemblance, I noticed that that was the Powerpuff Girls theme banned almost immediately before you even said anything, or before you even looked at the screen. Well, probably couldn't have been before you said anything, but as soon as you said it, I was like, oh, yep, that's absolutely them. No denying that. As soon as the fog has begun to go away, so has the sun. Mutually exclusive weather patterns here at Indianapolis, apparently. And it's going away kind of fast. Well, as long as the sky just remains black and not red, we're fine. One thing that definitely started to get on my nerves, I've only watched like 2.5 episodes of JSRF. The constant like hoo ha ha hoo ha hoo ha ha hoo ha thing that the characters do when they're jumping around like idiots get on my nerves pretty quickly. And that's just from an observer standpoint. I can't imagine actually playing the game that would definitely get on my nerves incredibly fast. Something tells me that the original Jet Set Radio is probably part of where they got, probably partially inspired the grinding mechanic that showed up in Sonic games from there on out. I don't think that's a coincidence. And before looking into that video, my only experience of JSR and JSRF was the Sonic racing games. Well, Sonic, Sega All-Stars Racing, and All-Stars Transformed. I never really played as Beat, but that is what I know him from, if anything, and that's also why he ended up in Universe Zero for a while. I don't know if he'll make a return here. I haven't really pondered that. Same with Mortimer. I would say he's not really a racing character, but he's actually appeared in a racing game, for one. For two, no, not racing, but his games are kind of, you know, focused on stylishness and, by the same essence, doing it quickly. I mean, there are actual races in there as well, so. But like Mortimer in Thrillville, it's another example. He's not really a racing character. And with a couple of other genius engineer type characters coming in, alongside Rigger Motor, who, not here yet, but he will be appearing at some point in the future, or you don't know precisely when, but with like Tails, and there's a Toho girl that is an engineer. She's also become my favorite, but I don't think she's actually been officially revealed as a character yet. I think, yeah, only 3 were, mentioned in the, 39, Rainbow, Cyrano, and, Sakuya. The 3 that I've added haven't really gotten any screen time yet. And believe me, I tried to get them to show up here. I did reset this race like 8 or 9 times, because either anomalistic characters would be here, like Twinmill. He was just at Imola in Italy. How the heck would he be here in Indianapolis in 2 episodes' time? At one point, Bert showed up, and I just played as him. Now, why was it allowed with the last episode? Because, well, I saw him on the front, like near the front of the grid, for 1. And so I thought maybe I could have another character as an opponent. And 2, I'd already reset that race multiple times to try and get the remaining, any of the remaining new recruit characters in. Because there are a couple more that haven't been revealed outside of those extra 3 Toho girls. There are additional Sonic characters that have yet to have been revealed. We saw Amy at the Suzuka race. Sonic and Shadow have appeared, but there are more than just those 3. One of which did actually appear, but it appeared at the same time as Twinmill, and I was like, well, okay, crap. That's not going to work. Yeah, so the whole out of control of character appearance thing isn't really a problem, because I can just keep resetting the starting grid until one does show. Only reason there wouldn't be a character in a race is if the plot, like, asks for it, such as with the last time I played 16 Angels at Monza. He went on his own searching for his remaining golden tetrad, teammates. Came up empty because, well, Governor found Swoopidoo, thank the Lord. As you can tell, this race has become absolutely autopilot by this point. As soon as that Porsche was no longer a threat, this became very, autonomous. As it often does once I've gotten a couple of seconds to the second place AI car. It's sort of a running thing with the series. If I do get the gap, then it just keeps getting further and further and further. We'll barely have, but we will have 2 more laps after this. A little bit wide there. It is nice that the curbs on this track are actually very gentle. You can just abuse the curbs here and it really doesn't do anything to your car, which is a welcome sight. Because, trust me, about 75% of curbs in this game that, like, you are likely to hit are, like, insta-kills. Like this one. Right over that. Doesn't matter. You wouldn't normally hit that one, so while it can disrupt your car if you actually took that corner decently, well, you'll never hit it. This one. Right over it. Actually helped me. A lot. I missed that one completely, but I was trying to get down there. This one you probably can't hit, though. I don't know, I didn't manage to hit it. As we begin the final lap. Very consistent lap times as well. I initially thought the Bentley was a terrible car. Then I drove it in episode 1 and I was like, you know, I've been sleeping on this car in this game. A lot of power, which can be its own downfall in this scenario, as you see the traction control once again had a moment. Very controlled vehicle, especially if you have traction control on. If it weren't on, it probably would have spun a few times, but that's the case with almost any car in GT3 except for the Acura NSX, which is literally like a slave with the rear wing on it. It is like so grippy and so unhesitating to do precisely what you tell it to. Well, it seems as if I will have my personal revenge at Indianapolis. MetaCog does what so fast cannot, and he will take a pretty significant win at Le Mans, Indianapolis. The braking isn't perfect on this thing, but it does also kind of mean that, you know, it's not terrible if you miss. Or like, if you do brake wrong, it doesn't really affect you too bad. I'll just skip the cooldown. And see where our guys have ended up. Well, Samurai Jack had a big start. However, he didn't really have the speed to keep up with, this guy, oh my lord, that guy. He was faster than me. Granted, I probably would have been faster than that had I not had 7 having 7 arrow damage from other cars. Deliverance. Oh goodness, went up quite a few places, but Buttercup fell hard. For reference, he started 5th. Whereas Deliverance started 12th. And they almost exchanged places. So that'll be it for this episode of... I think there's that one car with yellow headlights. Actually, that car is absolutely me. So that's kind of funny. It sometimes feels like changes to the, oh, that'd be why. You never want that on. Trying to take clear pictures at least. Yeah, so that will be it for the episode. Wow, good English. This episode of the Time Loop, MetaCog demonstrating his capabilities as a driver, being of course in this series known as the He's every bit fast as Gearhead is aggressive and able to fight. So they complement each other nicely in that regard. MetaCog can still fight, and Gearhead can still race, but they're both better at one thing than the other.